Namaste. Welcome to Chitti Media. This is our current affairs program, and my name is Abhishek Naipati. Today, we are going to be talking about the protest against the BBC, and we've covered this topic in the past before, but we're going to give some more updates on it. And to talk about it today, I'm going to introduce our guest, Dr. Sneh Sunny. Dr. Sneh Sunny ji, namaste. Welcome to the show.
Namaste, Abhishek. Namaste. Thank you for inviting me to the show. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you're doing well. If you want, can you give us a brief about yourself?
Sure. Yeah, I am Sneh Sunny, Dr. Sneh Sunny. I was born in and I was a teenager when my parents shifted to Canada, Toronto, and I did my university from University of Toronto. I was then I moved to States for a couple of years. Then I got married, and I in UK for last now around 30 years. So I'm a mixed person now altogether. So yeah,
Okay.
that's me.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. So now let's get into the topic of today, and which is the actual protest against the BBC. So can you tell us what is it that initially triggered the protest?
I mean, we have been writing over the years because we find BBC has always been not pro-India somehow, and wherever I live, I'm still an Indian at heart. To me, India should be respected, but you noticed, right, in 80s they used to call, oh, India is a country of a snake charmers, right? That's what we were famous about. Now even we have so much of our youngsters being the CEO of Apple or Facebook or whatever, they still have issues with Indians. Somehow every time they talk about India, it's never respectfully. They never show the good parts of India. They're very happy to show the bad parts of India. Any festival we have, like Holi is a dirty festival according to them. For Diwali, they'll start saying, oh, the ladies have to work hard because Diwali is coming, so the Hindu girls have to work hard, or Diwali is coming, oh, they're going to get fat, they're going to be eating unhealthy. And been listening for a long time. And there comes a point when you say, hey, enough. You need to start respecting for who we are and respect our roots where we come from and our religion and understand what India and Hindus are all about.
That's actually very funny. You mentioned I wasn't familiar. They said that the Diwali is going to make you fat because I'm like every holiday we celebrate here it revolves around eating. So I mean,
Exactly.
in the United States, like everything is eating. So
Any
that's actually kind of
festival,
funny.
any festival in any community is
Yeah.
eating and meeting
Right.
and clothes and everything. So why the Indian or a Hindu festivals are any different than any other religion?
Yeah. So that's funny. Thank you for sharing that. So how did you decide to get involved in a protest?
Well, I was very actively working with Rishi when he was standing, Rishi Shonak when he was
Mhm.
standing. So I have worked 4 weeks very closely with him in that team. I met a lot of like-minded people when I was going to hustings, especially
Oh,
with him. So I used to meet because they'll see an Indian face and all the Indian to you and understand what you're all about. And I found that there were a lot of people who have the same feeling what I was feeling. They'll talk to me and say, "Do you think he's going to win, or is there you think there's a discrimination, or you think the media is not reacting properly?" Because media did wrote him off very quickly, if you remember.
mhm.
So we were all talking about that, and somehow they all have the numbers. We all exchange numbers, and once very first round when Rishi lost, it was like. Uh, we were like very thought that it was not on his ability, it was about some his skin color altogether. And we were not happy, so we thought let's all get together, try to change the perception of a normal Britisher or a normal white person, say who we Indians are, who we Hindus are. So that's how our whole idea came about. We have done protest for the Guardian before, but the
Mhm.
Guardian protest was different. But these people who organized were mainly different people. So that's how we all came together.
Oh, okay. So I think you went into it a little bit already, but I was going to ask, how did you organize this protest specifically? How long did it take to get everyone together?
We are mainly 12 people.
Okay.
12 people who come from normal walks of life,
Mhm.
right? We are different age range as well. And we are from, surprisingly, when we were asking where we coming from, we come from different state of India as well.
Oh
I
wow.
mean, I mean, we all are Britishers here, but we have all, somebody is from Bihar, and somebody is from Bangalore, and somebody is from Hyderabad, and so we were not even from same place, which made us like quite interesting team, and every member of the team have its own quality.
Mhm.
They have their own specialty. Somebody is good in IT, somebody is good in media, somebody is good with the figures, somebody is good with the PR. So it's a very mixed team. And it took us 6 weeks because we wanted a very organized, and this was a very organized event, fully organized. So people can't say anything bad about it. People can't say, oh, they behaved wrongly, or we were not up to the mark. So 6 week, every little detail was talked about, every little detail was written about who will do what. And
Mhm.
if scenarios, if this comes, how are we going to handle this? If this come, how are we going to? So we try to brainstorm, and literally we were sitting on a Zoom every night, all 12 of us. So if we all have a full-time job, we all are working people, but every night we dedicated literally for 6 weeks just on this project only.
Wow. Thank you guys for your sacrifice. Honestly, that's awesome. That's really great to hear. So I mean, okay, obviously you also talked about this a little bit, but what you've been doing this since back when you protested against the Guardian too. So maybe you can go into what motivated you to uh, like how did this come about where you started? Maybe go back into what motivated you initially to protest against the Guardian then.
I mean, what motivated me was because, when our kids study in UK, right, they study
Mhm.
British history, right? My son is studied here, so he studied British history. So obviously, as a parent, it became my duty when he was teenager to teach him Indian history. So it was some for us, it was something else. So I started teaching him. So when I started speaking to a lot of, I said, normal people, and I said, do you guys realize that that BBC said that? Oh, yeah, we said it, but we didn't pay attention. Okay, fine. Did you realize they said that? Oh, yeah, but something should be done about it. We Hindus or Indians have a habit of passing the buck to somebody else. And when I was speaking to a lot of people, I realized they all are concerned that this has happened, but nobody really wanted to stand up and say, "Hey, why are you saying that?" Or are you not understanding our culture or religion or whatever? So I thought it was about time that nicely that we can engage them in a dialogue with us and say, look, it bothers us, because it bothered me definitely.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm a Britisher at the same time.
Mhm.
Difference between me, a child born in Britain will be British Indian, wherever I'm Indian British. Yeah. So it will bother me
Mhm.
more. But I've noticed when people came there, there were a lot of British Indians too.
Oh wow. So no, that's
So
very nice actually. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
it bothered me when people say, it was happening a lot day in, day out. And then
Mhm.
wherever riots were happen, and it was like especially Leicester riots as well, when
Mhm.
it's I mean, the guy who was going to do the inquiry, he was not pro Indians, or he was not fair at all. So we were seeing it, all these happening, especially when Rashid lost. That was my last straw to say, despite of this boy having all the qualities what needed against the person who was standing, right, he didn't get the job
Mhm.
because they are not respecting for who we are. Possibly, maybe they don't know who we are. So
Yeah.
it's about time we just start teaching them nicely.
No, I agree. That's fantastic. So the protest has been going on for I think about a week or so, right? A little over a week. Um, how so far? How has the protest been? What do you think the impact is like?
The impact, I felt it. One, in a long term aim to every Indian to be very proud to say openly, hey, I'm Indian British, I'm Indian as well. Secondly, at the same time, they should be, like our new generation. I want to leave a legacy for a new generation to feel that they are proud for who they are. So the whole thing, according to me, went very well. I want to unite the Indians and Hindus in this Britain world. There are a lot of organizations, Abhishek,
Mhm.
lots of organizations we have in UK, but are they united? Then our this 12 of us, we don't have an organization. We do not want to make an organization. We want to show that every normal human being can come and join us and do it. Because when you attach yourself to an organization, then you say, oh, that organization did get involved.
Mhm.
So coming from other organization and did help us out. The
Okay.
unity in the longer term, I want the Hindus to be united, fully united.
Uh, okay, that's it's good to see that people have been coming together, and we do got work to do in our unity, though, for sure. From what you're saying, so that's definitely good. Definitely, I'm glad you shared that. So, have there been any responses from other groups, like non-Hindu groups, or
I mean, no, we haven't got any responses from non-Hindu
okay?
groups, because when we went there, it was supposed to start at 11. So we were there by 10 o'clock, I believe. All of us, four of us, reached there,
Mhm.
and as soon as we reached there, say, hey, we're expecting people to rise. So be vigilant.
Mhm.
And we said, hey, look, we are going to be a silent protest. So we don't see
Mhm.
us, because we're not even talking about anyone. We're talking about India only. And there was 10
Right.
members of the police in a big van. And so they said, hey, we're expecting people to come and oppose you guys. So we be vigilant. Fine. So they gave us heads up. But surprisingly, no one came, maybe because they saw the security was quite strong, or there was police van right behind us. If you see that day's
Mhm.
video, there's a police van. There were 10 police officers sitting in the van, and we requested two Asian speaking police officers. Because when we
Okay.
did the Guardian protest, there was something said to us in our own language. So that
Oh.
when we said, oh, we didn't see it, so we requested this time two police officer who can understand Hindi. So if anybody tries to
Okay.
say that kind of thing, they can say, then yes, the abuse was given in
Okay.
Guardian time. But this time, touch wood, no one came. And even if they came, I
Yeah.
believe, seen the way the police was and the BBC, they must have.
Okay. That's good that you had the protection at that point. So now have you heard anything from the BBC? Have they protested at all? I mean, have they responded to the protest at all?
We haven't heard from yet, so I wanted to give them a week or so. So because I know how
Mhm.
organizations work, we all work in a bigger organization, so sometimes it takes time. So I am gonna just give them a week, 10 days, and then gonna contact them and say, hey, what happened? Because all
Mhm.
I expect from them, Abhishek, is to get into dialogue with us. We want to sit
Okay.
on a table and say to them, this is happening. Do you realize this is happening? Because according, I believe, I work in an organization. If my staff is doing something day in day out, I might think it's a norm, till
Mhm.
somebody comes and say to me, hey, that's wrong. And maybe I'm giving BBC a benefit of doubt, that maybe they're not realizing that it is happening. So I want to engage them in a dialogue with us, so that
Okay.
will bring a positive outcome possibly. If they don't, then we'll see what we need to do. I hope they do.
Okay. That actually leads me to my next question, which would be, what are the next steps for the Hindu community? So let's say maybe you don't hear back from the BBC, or
then
What,
definitely I'm going to write them back again. I'm going to try
okay.
to write few. I'm going to give them so many chances. I'll write to them again and again and again and say, hey, engage with us in a dialogue, engage with us in a dialogue. And one day they will. If not, then we will have to do another protest this time and next time, and maybe take a maybe severe action. But at that time, I want a lot of people to join us, a lot of organization to join and say, hey, we all united together. This time we were around 200, and if because we took the police permission of around 200 only, um, but next time then I would want to gather more people.
Okay, that's wonderful. I like the persistence. It reminds me of the story of Savitri, from when Yamaraj was taking her husband away. So I
Yeah.
love that. That's wonderful. So, okay, now let's get into how can the Hindu diaspora outside of the UK support the protest?
We were supported, Abhishek, very well. I know that Vivek Agnihotriji in India,
Mm.
he was tweeting. We were
Wow.
sending we were making the videos. We have our own video guys, we were three of them. We were taking bites from everyone. We took bite from every general public that day. We went to even to the little child and say why you are here, because we wanted to understand why people were there, and we made small bites, and all those smiles, all those bites, we put it on our Twitter, and we keep on sending it to other people. We had two out of 12, two people were sitting at home just doing IT, that work only. So we were
Oh,
recording it, sending it, and they were putting it on our Twitter. And we were with Agnihotriji even before the event. He started tweeting for us.
oh wow.
Mirza ji, they were tweeting for us. Arif ji, they were tweeting for us. So we had a few people who were tweeting, and I'm very surprised. My cousin lives in Colorado, and she said to me, "What were you doing on NDTV today?" And I said, "What NDTV?" I didn't realize that sitting in Colorado, she'd hear that.
Oh,
So I thought maybe she's just joking. So I passed it off. Next day, my school friend from Delhi said, why? I saw you in NDTV last night about the BBC protest. I said, oh, okay, that's where you were. So to me, it looks like it has gone viral all of the places, and I received a lot of calls from the people at home and saying, "Thank you for standing up. Thank you for it's a good cause." And I think not only me, all 12 of us received calls from a lot of people for taking the initiation to start doing something in the positive direction. So
oh wow,
it's
that's
an initiative they were happy about.
okay. So I mean that's good that the support was there. Is there anything else you think we could do? Maybe we can go a little bit beyond and helping you, or
We haven't decided yet, but maybe in a longer run we will want, because what I really want from the Indian government, definitely, because I want them to stop the BBC now, because BBC used to be okay when we didn't have our own media, in a
Mhm.
strong Indian media. Now the Indian media is very strong. Do they need a BBC presence there?
I see. Yeah.
I mean, do they really need? Because I heard at one point the BBC is going to stop the Hindi service anyway,
Okay.
right? So, I mean, our government needs to think: do we need a BBC in here? I mean, our media is a lot better and stronger than actually the BBC now.
Hmm.
I remember growing up, I used to listen to BBC News all the time, but do we need now? So maybe that the government can look into it,
Okay.
and maybe through the YouTubes, through the Twitter, through the social media, spread the word, say what is happening, and then so that maybe similar things can be done in states or even in Canada, because I know states,
Hmm.
there's discrimination happening in states as well.
Yeah.
So that can be tackled, because maybe it's the start of something new for all of
Yeah.
us.
Actually, I think that's amazing because we can use that same blueprint for in other places. So that's a great idea. Um, One thing I want to say is how do you think? I remember when I was speaking about this issue before. Someone told me like the UK Hindu population is very strong and they're very resilient. What do you think it is about the UK Hindus? Because and what do you think the rest of us can learn from you guys?
The UK Hindus, if you look at it, they're a mixed bag here.
Mhm.
People who came from Africa as well. Remember, they
Yeah.
came when Amin in 70s and 80s when Amin threw them out of Uganda, and then
Mhm.
so that generation is literally a third generation now.
Okay.
Then there's a generation of my people who have been here for good 30, 40 years, and then there's a new generation of IT who's coming. So we had a mixed bag.
Uh-huh.
And another thing is the Indians here, we are very well settled. I mean, they're not on a dole money, most of us. Most of us are professional working people, and we have businesses, and then we actually add to the British economy. And I think that makes us strong. And we have not left our roots.
Uh-huh.
We make sure that we try to celebrate every function if we can. We do Diwali, we do Holi, we do the Shara, we actually burn the oven. So we try to do as many functions as we can, so that our new generation can carry on with the whole thing. And we for
Mhm.
a number of years we've been doing all that. And that's the reason the UK Hindus are actually more staunch in terms of that. Yes, we are Hindus. We are not.
Mhm.
We're very proud to say we are Hindus, because our Hindu culture is very rich. And
Mhm.
we have and surprisingly, in UK you can do A levels in Hindi.
Oh wow.
I think now some of the schools are introducing the Sanskrit as well. So
Oh, okay.
that's because
Wow.
we force the government to do it time to time.
Well.
So that's the reason I think we and we stand up. We don't shy away from saying we are Hindus. We don't shy away from saying I'm going to celebrate Diwali, and we don't shy away from wearing sari all the time. I mean, I any British function or Indian function, I'm more than happy to wear my sari,
Okay.
because I'm very proud to wear sari. It's when I was in Toronto that time.
Oh wow. That
I
that's
have become
amazing actually.
I have become more Indian since I come to UK than I was in Canada.
Wow. So yeah, that's actually something we should all pay attention to. I think yeah, in the diaspora, there's a lack of we don't want to. We're a little bit embarrassed to like claim it as boldly, I guess, as Hindus in the UK. So I think that's wonderful that you shared that.
And we
Um,
teach the kids. We make sure our kids can speak Hindi. I mean,
uh,
my brother's kids are born in Canada and they can't speak a word of Hindi. My son, he
wow.
can speak Hindi fluently. Okay, he can't read and write, but he can speak. And we make sure that our kids do understand the language, and
Mhm.
they do, and because maybe in UK is very nearer to India, so flight is only 9 hours, so we take our
Uh,
kids very often, more often than actually you guys from States or Canada or Australia possibly.
yeah, I think so. Um, yeah, in the United States, I for the most part, people do seem to know their language. I think they kind of they're culturally more comfortable with being Indian, but the Hindu part, they're a little bit like I don't want to claim a religion or I don't know. It's that's kind of what I noticed, but but it's nice. In the UK, it seems like they're very proud to say no. We are Sanatanis. We
Yeah,
come from Dharma. This is our
yeah,
culture. So
that's our
yeah,
culture.
that's awesome. Wow.
Mm.
So I think lastly, before we end the show, do you have any closing remarks you would like to give? The Hindu population.
I definitely would want everyone to come together. I want people to come for the cause, not say which organizations we belong to.
Mhm.
We all are Hindus, end of the day, right? And everything when is done, and when you try to do any kind of protest, let it be a very peaceful protest, so that people can say yes, these are peaceful people, and then and start teaching them slowly, gradually. I like to teach people who we are, rather than push them on their throats. Once you persistent about one thing, people in a long term will start learning, will start understanding, but you need to say it. It's like anytime, like something happens in my son's, when he was in school, they'll say, oh, we will give him halal. Oh, halal is on the menu. And I used to say, I'm sorry, but my child is not Muslim, he's not eating halal. Do you understand that? So I used to make sure that my son does not eat beef then.
Mhm.
And I used to tick it on his. I was playing that. No, he can't eat beef because I had to tell her why you can't. I said, well, because we are Hindus.
Mhm.
So I have, so you don't shy away from that, and please come together, show, stand for each other, for Hindus. Like if there's a problem going on with one Hindu, try to support them rather than making fun of the person or shy away from the situation. It matters. We all have to support each other. We all have to tell everyone, whatever religion, or
Yep.
we need to be proud Indians and proud Hindus.
Yep, I agree. Thank you. That's I think a great notion to end on. We have to be proud Hindus. So
Yes.
thank you very much for your time, Dr. Sneji. Namaste, and everyone else. Please like, share, subscribe, and you know what to do. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Abhishek ji. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for having me on the platform. Thank you.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.